All right, welcome to the Northampton Area Public Library November craft. This is going to be a paper quilling mum bloom. Now, you may have seen paper quilling before as the more curled version of it, more spiral type paper strips. This is going to be a more sculptural one, and this is a pretty simple little mum craft, but it's very cute. You can make a bunch of blooms to use as just a general fall decoration, scatter them on a table, maybe attach them to a dowel or a wire and make a lovely little fake flower bouquet. That'll certainly be more, unique than the normal fall bouquets. So I'm just going to show you what to do once you've got all your materials set out. So here are the materials you are going to need. So first of all, you're going to need your basic white school glue. Now you may have heard that they make special quilling glue. You really don't need anything like that. Your basic white school glue is going to do the job just as well. It's excellent. I have a little tray here that I've just set it in so I'm not taking directly from the bottle, because you are going to be applying the glue just with this little toothpick. This toothpick is going to do double duty for the mum flower craft, as we will see later. You're also going to need some scissors just to do some cutting with. Some very just delicate, easy snips. Most of the strips that we have here for you are going to be pre-cut in your craft kits. So here's what you're going to have. You're going to have 8 of these 1-inch green strips. That's going to be for the leaf that you're going to be making along with the little mum bloom. You're going to have 1 5-inch strip of green as well for the leaf. This is going to be the main center part of the leaf. You are going to have 4 of these 6-inch strips of a fall colored paper for each bloom. So that's your reds, your yellows, your oranges. You're going to also have 4 of a 4-inch colored paper strip, and you're going to have 2 of 2 inches strip. So to start out, we're going to make the base part of the mum. So we're going to take the 6-inch strip and we're going to fold it in half. Easy as that. Then we're going to take the 2 ends of this strip and we're going to fold them toward the middle. Just like that. All right, and you're going to do this with all 4 of your strips. Now, we're going to take our toothpick and we're just going to press the rounded part of it right into the outer creases there to sort of make a more rounded edge. If you can, let it focus here. If you can see right there, it's more rounded than it is pointed, and those are going to be these little petals here. So we're going to do that on both of these, on each one of the strips. All right, now we're just gonna gently unfold these 2 outer parts, and this is where the toothpick comes in doing double duty. We're just gonna dip it in a bit of glue. Now, with most things in life, you want a lot of glue to attach it, but with paper quilling, paper is actually quite delicate. It soaks up the glue very well, so you actually, in paper quilling, the general rule is less is more. So we will start from the very center and we'll just dab on just the littlest, tiniest bit of glue. And we're not going to go all the way until the crease because we will be attaching it and we don't want this part, this middle part to attach. We want that to stay rounded as it is. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to fold that right back into the center. Just like that. Just gently press it down. We're going to stick the other end of the toothpick back in so that it stays curled, and we're just going to press it down. So it'll look like this, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So just like before, we just dip in the tightest little dab of glue. We start from the center fold and we just dab it outwards just a little bit, not all the way out to that outer fold. And we're going to fold it towards the center. Gently press. Stick the toothpick right back in there. and get that lovely little center fold, just like that. So it'll look like this. This little, kind of looks like antenna, I guess. All right, so you're going to do that with all 4 of your 6-inch strips. So once you have all 4 of them made, I have, some pre-made ones right here, so I wouldn't bore you with the whole video. So you're going to take, again, a little dab of glue, dab it in the center of this new little mum petal, and you're going to attach it like them together. So you're going to attach 2 of them together just like this, just like a little cross right in the center there. And you're going to do the same with the other 2. So as you can see, I already have that one made, and then I just easily attach them together. Just like this. Now my paper over on this one, because I made it earlier, already started to naturally curl as I was making it. But basically, to make the petals curl upward perfectly, just take your fingernail on the inside and just the soft tip of your other finger and just gently swipe it like that. If you've ever curled a ribbon with the inner part of a scissors, it's a bit like that. So you'll just want to gently fold the paper, curl the paper, whatever you want to call it, inward like that. All right, and we have got the base of our mum. So this is the outer sort of layer of petals right here. All right, next we're going to take the 4-inch strips. So once again, you have 4 4-inch strips. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the 6-inch strips to the 4-inch strips. So first, we're going to fold them in half. Then we're going to fold the outer edge toward the middle. So you'll end up with something like that. You'll do that with all 4 strips. Then once again, you'll take the toothpick and you'll just sort of curl it around like that, make it have a more rounded edge, just like that. All right, we'll take our glue. We'll start from the middle fold. We'll dab it a bit outwards, just the littlest bit of glue. We will fold it in. We will take our toothpick, we will stick it right back in there, and we will finish just gently pressing down. And we will end up with a little, let's see if you can see this better, a little loop like that. We're going to do that on the other side as well. And when we are done doing it to this one, we're going to do it with it's a little too much glue, see? Less is more. All right. So when we're done doing it with this one, we will do it to the other 4-inch strips as well. And then, just like the outer part, this is going to be the middle part. So we are going to take it, we are going to take the other 4-inch strips, cross them over each other to make that little, just a little, I guess you would call it a star, snowflake type typical pattern. So I already have this one started to make that easier for you guys. All right. So just like that. And we've got that, and just once again, just gently take your fingernail on the inside, the soft tip of your finger on the outside, and oops, I didn't wait long enough for the glue to dry. Rookie mistake. Okay. All right, now it's good. Okay. All right, so now we've got that. And all right, so can you guess what we're going to do with the 2-inch strips? That's right, the exact same thing that we did with the 6-inch and the 4-inch. So this is a lot smaller, so it's going to be a bit more difficult So you're going to want to be just a bit more delicate with the middle parts, a bit more focused. So we're going to fold it in half, fold the two outer edges inward. Do this with both of the 2-inch strips. Just a little bit of glue. Start from the inside, spread a little bit of glue outwards, fold it in, stick our toothpick in, and have that little fold there. A little more glue. All right. All right, perfect. So if you can see it right here, we've got the 2 little loopies on the outside. And then here is my other one. So we're just going to cross those over each other, attach in the middle with just the tiniest bit of glue. And unlike what I just did earlier, we're going to wait for it to dry before we curl it in a little bit. So while that's drying for right now, I'm going to attach the larger outer part to the slightly smaller middle part. We'll stick it in the middle there. And we are going to gently lay this one inside. If you want to get these petals to match up with the gaps on the outside one, that makes it a bit more, aesthetically pleasing, at least in my opinion, but you can totally do whatever you want. Make your flower yours, and we're just going to gently press it down. All right. We're going to take our 2-inch one. Once again, I'm using my fingernails to just, oh, not dry. All right, once again, I'm just using my fingernails to curl it in a little bit. Oh, I dropped it. Okay. All right. And we're just going to take a tiny little dab of glue in the center here. And we're going to just stick that in. Once again, use the petals to sort of fill in the gaps. There's not as many petals on the inside one, but I think it looks a little better with less, sort of filling in the middle part here. All right, so there we go. We've got your bloom. So as you can see, I've already made a couple here in differing little fall colors. So next, what you want to do is take your green 5-inch strip and just fold it in half. And we're actually going to keep it that way, and we're going to glue this together. And the reason for that is so as the leaf, you're just going to want it to be a bit more stable. You can, of course, just use, a 2.5-inch strip. I find that's, the best length, but the reason I'm doing 5 inches and folding it in half to be 2.5 inches is just so it's a little more stable. As I mentioned before when I was talking about the glue, quilling paper is just a little bit fragile. So we just want it to be just like that, so we have a thicker strip of paper. So now what you're going to do is, let me gather up these all here. I've got all my little 1-inch pieces, and these are going to be part of the leaves. Now looking at a mum leaf online, you'll see it looks a bit like a leaf, but it's a bit more spiky, so I thought we could do a more sort of abstract leaf for this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one end of this, we're going to use the scissors, and we're just going to curve it. Why is it not cutting? Well, let's try from this direction. Okay, there we go. We're just going to curve it a bit at the top, just like this, so that it ends in just a nice point, rounded a bit there. So, if you could see that. Perfect. We're going to do that with 4 of these. Now, you can actually do whatever you want with your leaf, whatever you think looks best. I'm just going to show you what I find the most aesthetically appealing when I'm making a leaf. So with 4 of the 1-inch pieces, it's better to start from this end. Okay, yes it is. set with 4 of the 1-inch pieces, we're going to cut the tips like this. Now, while I'm doing this, all right, so we've got that. You're gonna have always a bunch of little scraps of paper, but that's pretty much true for any craft you do. You're always just left with a little bit of mess. So I'm just going to brush those off to the side and try not to brush them onto the floor. All right, so you're going to take your other 4 1-inch strips, and what I find is best is to just cut them in half and make little 1/2-inch pieces and attach those as part of the leaves as well. So I'm going to start off with 4 here, and I'm going to see what looks best on my leaf, what I am feeling today. All right. So I find this part kind of to be the most difficult because you're making very tiny cuts on a very tiny piece of paper with, you know, if you're like me, you probably only have big scissors. Maybe you've got some smaller scissors, some sewing scissors if you wanted to use that, some scissors that are specifically made for paper cutting, but I'm not that fancy, so I just use big scissors and do what I can. All right, so we've got our main part of the leaf. Choose which part you want to be showing up front. So this is going to be the top. So when we attach it to the bottom, this is what you will see. So because on the other side, the bottom is where we're going to be attaching our leaf parts. So you can just attach them however you like. I'm just going to show you how I prefer to attach them. So we've got our little 1-inch parts, and you just start attaching them really wherever you think looks good. I like to alternate them on either side. I like to alternate sizes. So you can just watch me do this and sort of do whatever you like with your leaf and just have fun. Maybe you'll have a little paper left over to do extra little adornments on your flower with, whatever you like. Let's just attach that on there. Lovely. Paper quilling has always traditionally been more of a women's craft. It was traditionally done by nuns towards the Middle Ages period. It's actually based on something called filigree. So you will sometimes hear paper quilling called paper filigree, and it's based on, if you've ever seen wrought iron work that's done in those curls. Maybe some of you have that on your front porches as that design. So that is filigree, and that is what paper quilling is based off of. Traditionally, it was used to decorate things with. So you would see people making little quilling designs, attaching them to boxes or chests, or just simple artworks to hang on the wall. And like I said before, traditionally a women's craft, but of course anyone can do it and anyone should do it. Now you can already see, I'm using this much glue to attach all of these things to this one little sheet of paper. This is why we wanted that middle one to be so thick, because there's a lot of glue that's getting attached to it, so this is going to hold it a lot better. So I'm going to start with that. So more like that. Now I'm going to take these, make some more. So like to alternate them, like I said, and I just kind of get a feel for what I want it to look like as I'm making it. So let's just do 2 for now. I'm working with such small pieces, and you may notice your fingertips get a little bit of that dried gluey residue on them. I'd recommend starting this project with clean hands. Well, you should be washing your hands anyway, as we all know. All right, let's do a couple more on here. I'm just going to start with 2 and see how it looks. It gets harder to do the more you do it because your hands start to get tired. I'm sure lots of people know what I'm feeling. So just attaching it. Oh, I need a little bit more glue. I am going to use the rest of these 2 little pieces here to add a little bit more to my leaf. Just to make it have a little more volume on the sides. Let's see, will it look, where should I put it? Shall I put it here, I think? That would look excellent. So let's do that. All right. All right. And when we flip it over to the top part, you'll see that what we did on the other side isn't going to be showing. So that's why you want everything to be done on one side. So I got a little bit of gluey residue there. I'm just trying to, there we go. All right, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the stem here. We're going to lay it down. We're going to, this is the one I just made, so we'll use this one. And we'll just lay that down right there. Gently press. All right. And when the leaf is dried a little bit more, mine is still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to wait about a minute, and I'm going to take my fingernail and I will just do that curling that I did with these. If you have extra paper, feel free to make more leaves. And if you'd like to use something other than quilling paper, you absolutely can. The thing about quilling paper is it is specially made for quilling, of course. So it has the grain and it is cut in the direction that makes it easy to curl in this direction because, as I mentioned before, a lot of times you're going to see those little coils, those spirals that they make with the quilling paper. But you absolutely can use just regular old paper that you cut into strips, so you can just use something like this sheet of printer paper I have setting down here. You'll probably notice that one direction of the paper is going to curl better than the other, so maybe you'll want to cut in that direction. All right, let's see if this is dried a bit more. I'm actually going to, just because this is so big, I'm just going to lay it down in the palm of my hand instead of using my finger. And I'll just curl it up a little more. And that just looks like just a lovely little mum, a lovely little craft, a bit more abstract than a regular mum. And when you make a bunch of them, you know, you can gather them together. You could do whatever you'd like with them. It's just a fun little craft, a fun little thing to do. It doesn't take too long, and it's a good introductory craft to paper quilling. All right, so that is going to do it for me right now. Thank you so much for participating in this craft and for tuning into this video. I hope it was helpful, and make sure to visit the Northampton Area Public Library again and see what our craft is next month and participate in some of our other adult programming if you would so like to.